I think I'm going to begin. And of course, I will begin with mantra. How else? Because Ganesha also rules over sound, sacred sound in particular. We're going to do a mantra together at the end of the session. But for now, if you'd just like to listen and, maybe inside the studio, eventually we're going to learn more mantras. But for now, you can just have your spine upright. You can bring your hands to your heart. I'm sure you already have an image of Ganesha. So maybe you can bring that image into your mind and allow yourself a breath. Om Ganana Antva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavin Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspat Anashrin Vannuti Basida Sadanam Om Mahaganapataye Namaha. And a mantra for Saraswati so that she may, as my teacher says, sit on my tongue and in your ears. Saraswati namastubhyam varadeka marupini vidyarambam karashyami sitir pavatu me sadam. And the mantra for the teachings and for the relationship between the teacher and the student, and a mantra that really is specific to the parampara, because the teachings are offered through sound. So you may listen to this, and we're going to ask for blessings. From who? From Ganesha, most likely. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Saha Viryang Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. That's okay. You see, this is a class where we learn more about Ganesha, and Ganesha sits always at the beginning. As you've noticed in how I did the mantras, we began with Ganesha. So let's begin with Ganesha. I'm going to start sharing screen. Yes, there we go. And you just tell me whether you can see it in a moment. Still loading. Yeah, I think you're able to see it. Okay, well, if you can't see it, you'll just let me know. You should be able to see a nice big image. Well, big, it'll be big in a moment. There we go. Okay. So what is this Ganesha celebration all about? In the 6th month in the Vedic calendar runs differently to how the Western calendar runs. Right now we are in the month of Bhadra, and the months are calculated according to the cycles of the moon. So on the 4th day after the new moon, they say that Ganesha made his appearance. Ganesha was created. And after that, that is the Ganesha Chaturthi. And then after that, there's 10 days of celebrating this occasion, so celebrating Ganesha. And this is done through rituals, through making clay Ganeshas, through extra sadhana, mantra, and just invoking the deity, working with the imagery, working with the symbolism. You know where I'm getting at. And also making offerings. Very important to make offerings, to offer light, to offer flowers, to offer sweets as well. So this is the occasion. And right now we're also transitioning from summer to autumn, which is a big transition according to the seasons, right? And when things change, and they change dramatically, we're entering the dark phase of the year. I mean, we're already there, but we're going to become more aware of it. Things start to happen in the body as well, because the body reacts, the mind reacts. So we are at a sandhi point, at a juncture right now. So we are neither here, neither there. We're moving through. All right, who is Ganesha? This is Ganesha. Ganesha rides a mouse, and Ganesha is the son of Shiva and Parvati. So here we have the divine yogi family. Ganesha is important for yogic seekers, right? He's the son of Shiva and Parvati. And Parvati is the daughter of the mountains, and Shiva is always found in the mountains. Now, if we think about the energetic body, the subtle body, as we learn in yoga. We think about the central channel, we think about the spine, we think about the symbolism of the snake and the serpent, and we learn that Shiva sits above at the head, right? If you've taken the chakra course with me, then you know that he's at the Agnya chakra, and Shakti lays dormant down there, coiled 3 times. So you have here the symbol of snake. And maybe you can see that Shiva is he wearing a snake? Because I can't see the picture. He doesn't have a snake in this picture. Well, I didn't. Yes, he does. There we go. The cobra is there, right? So he's there as well. And as we'll find out from the story, is that Ganesha there, he's the protector of the divine yogic family. So there's a lot of association, you know, with the sacred spine, with the Kundalini energy, and Ganesha being the protector. So in this divine yogic family, we have the Shiva, the man, pardon me, and he's always, you know, he's in the mountains. He's at the top of the mountains all the time, right? So think of what is above. He's always at the top of the mountain, and the mountain is, the spine is so many times referred to as a pilgrimage through the mountains in Shastra. So Shiva's at the top of the mountain, and he goes away meditating for thousands of years. And soon after they marry, Shakti moves in with Shiva, and they live in the abode of Shiva. So it's up in the mountains. And just like with the spine, Shiva and Shakti cannot do without. So this is a divine marriage. Out of all the deities, you know, this is the householders, but these are the yogic householders. So in terms of concepts and things that we want to work with, this is very close to where we're heading as well, right? We're trying to have a spiritual life, but we're also householders. So in this yogic marriage, they recently get married, they move into Shiva's abode, and they have time together, they have time apart. Many times Shiva just wanders off, and he just meditates for thousands and thousands of years on top of the mountain, while Parvati remains in his domain, in his land. And I think I had here, yes, I had a little bit more about Parvati. Now, who is Parvati? Parvata actually means mountain. And I had this revelation the other day. I've already started calling downward facing dog mountain pose, but then I kind of like looked it up, and let me see exactly what it is in Sanskrit, and it's Parvatasana, the Parvata, Parvati, mountain. We have a lot of mountain poses in yoga, right? But the mountain again evokes that sense of stability, vastness, expansion. When you are in front of a big mountain like the range of Himalayas or the Alps, there's something happens, something magical happens. That vastness, that expansion brings in a sense of unity and absolute bliss. And Parvati is the daughter of the Himalayas. So the theme of mountains run with both Shiva and Shakti here. And the spine is a mountain. Okay, we'll begin the story. And the story is, the setting is Shiva's away meditating, and Parvati is at home in her little palace, and she's by herself basically. And she wants to take a bath. She wants to have a ritual. She, you know, like any woman wants to do some self-care, especially now as we're transitioning into autumn. So Parvati wants to take a bath. But then she realizes that, wait a minute, Shiva's not here. I don't really know anyone. The only other inhabitants of this place were the Ganas, and those are Shiva's hordes of creatures and beings, and they're all really weird looking. They're all different. They all wear different clothes and different hairstyles, and we'll get to them. But one of his Ganas is Nandi, the bull, and that's also Shiva's vehicle. They all have a vehicle. And she tells Nandi that you shall guard my door and you not let anyone in, not even Shiva, while I go take my bath. So she goes to take a bath, and then in the meantime, obviously Shiva comes back, because when, you know, he chose the right moment, he comes back, and he basically just brushes past Nandi, and he just walks into the chamber. And then, so these images are taken from the comic book that I said, and there's just like a mixture of images, but this is for you to, to have a bit of fun. And to also kind of like see the reactions, because part of it here, she's really upset with Shiva's like, wait a minute. Yes, you can come in because you're my husband, but why did he disobey me? Why did Nandi not listen to me? Because he's your Gana. So then I want a Gana of my own. I don't have anyone here. I don't have anyone to listen to me. I don't have anyone to, go about and do my orders. So what does she do? Shiva again, he goes away into his meditative state up in the mountains. And then at that point, Parvati decides to go out. And she goes out, she goes into a forest, and she begins to gather soil. And she gathers flowers, and she may have taken some tree bark as well. She gathers all of these treasures, all of the treasures of Mother Earth. Because Parvati, Shakti, she is Mother Earth. Shakti is the manifestation. It is the creation. Shakti is the flowers. Shakti is the tree bark. Shakti is the soil. Shakti is everywhere. She gathers all of these ingredients and then she brings them back into her bath chamber, and she starts making a paste. She adds saffron powder as well, and jasmine oil. You can see here all the flowers from the mountains. And she makes this paste, which she then smears over her whole body, a nice, good, whole body mask. And she waits for it to dry. And then when it dries, she scrapes it off bit by bit. Now, in the meantime, what happens that the clay gets into her skin. It gets in contact with Shakti, what is Shakti? Shakti is life. So that when she scrapes it off, there's particles of her skin mixed in that clay. And she starts forming the clay, and maybe she knew what she was doing exactly, maybe she didn't. But a boy is formed, a clay figure of a boy. And when she sees it, she's falls like instantly in love. Oh my God, he's handsome. Look at it. He's so strong. He's so beautiful. He is my son. And she decorates him. She offers flowers. She offers a diya lamp. She offers sweets as well. I know everything happens really quickly here. And she bows to the boy figure, to the boy clay. And her love is so strong that in that moment, her Shakti gives life into the boy. And all of a sudden, the boy comes to life. Hello, mother. I am here. I am your son. Love at first sight. The boy runs into the mom's arms. The mother takes the boy, and they have this little moment of loving each other. And then let's not forget, this is the son of Parvati. And she is, she's the wife of Shiva, the destroyer. Parvati is the creator. Shiva is the destroyer. So she creates the boy. And then what happens? Mother, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? Like, the ideal child. Mother, I'm here. You tell me what to do. So instantly, she has a plan. She knows what she's doing. She gives him a spear or a staff, different stories, different versions. And she does the same thing as she did with Nandi, but this time she has her own Gana. So she asks the boy, you stand at my door and you do not let anyone in, and you do not let even Shiva in. The boy says, yes, I will not let in anyone without your permission. And the boy goes to the door. And of course, what happens? Shiva comes. And Shiva comes and he sees that there's someone there, but he's like, yeah, whatever. Maybe it's one of the Ganas. And he tries to walk in, but he can't, because he gets stopped. And, he probably was taken a little bit aback, like, wait a minute, this is my home. That's my wife in there. Of course I can get in. No. The boy stands firmly planted, firmly installed, stable, steady. No, I am sorry. My mother said no one can get in, not even you. And in that moment, Shiva starts to slowly burn inside. Do you know who I am? I am Shiva. I can destroy you anytime. But the boy doesn't even falter, doesn't even move for a second. He does not let himself be intimidated by Shiva. So at this point, he was taken aback. No one has ever actually stood up to Shiva like that, especially a young boy, barely a child. So what he does is that he goes to his ganas, and his ganas are all, as I said, they're all creatures. I sometimes call them the Shiva's little minions. Right? They're gruesome. And he calls his horde of ganas to attack on the boy. Let's see what's on the next slide. There we go. There's the ganas. There are the ganas. He was like, well, now you have to take care of this. He probably didn't, he was like still a little bit uncertain about what is going on. Like no one's ever stood up to me like that. And he's also completely unafraid. There is no fear whatsoever to stand in front of Shiva. So Shiva calls on his ganas, and the ganas go on attacking. I mean, if you are reading what you get here in the pictures, as I said, this is taken from a comic book, and in the comic book, there's actually another version of the story. And in this one, the boy was slightly uncertain about what to do. He understood that Shiva is his father and Parvati is his mother, and he wasn't sure whether to attack the ganas or not. But in the moment when the ganas barged towards and wanted to enter and wanted to kill him, he just starts smacking them. And he's really good at smacking them. He is amazing. And they fall to the right, to the left, and some of them fled because they were, something like this has never happened before. They've never seen a warrior like him. In the meantime, whilst the boy is taking care of the ganas, in the realm of let's call this the heaven, in Devaloka, everyone was paying attention because, again, no one has ever done this before. No one stood up to Shiva like that. And now there was fighting between the ganas and this unknown warrior. So I'd like to imagine all of them there just kind of like eating popcorn at a movie until Shiva goes up there and he's like, well, I think I need some backup. I don't know what's going on, but I need you to help me, because he sees that his ganas are being like disseminated. So the gods send an army to help Shiva out, and everyone is there. I'm not going to go into the details of who is there, but everyone is there. And it does not matter. The boy does not let anyone come in because that was his mother's request. He completely disseminates everyone. Now, whilst this is happening, this is happening for a while, Shiva sees all of this and he understands that there's no way out of this. This has never happened before. He's going to have to do something that he may regret it later. And what he does is he sneaks up upon the boy, and then from behind, with his trident, he slices the boy's head off. Gruesome little image here. Now, when that happened, time stood still. Everyone stood still. They probably even held their breath for a moment, because there was admiration for this child, for this unknown warrior who suddenly just arrived there protecting Shakti, protecting the Devi. They didn't really understand who he was. Everything was done in a very rushed manner. It was Shiva who wanted to enter the chamber, disregarding everything. He didn't even, he didn't even try to understand the situation better. He didn't stop to see the situation from different angles. So everything stands still for a moment. Of course, Shakti knows. And Parvati knew instantly that something happened. So she came out, and here I like to imagine her, in that reaction, like, what have you done? That is our child. That is my child. If you do not restore the life into that boy, there will be no life, because I will withdraw from manifestation. So all of that Shakti is going to draw back. pull back. And what happens when Mother Earth pulls back and withdraws? There is no earth. There is no life. So when everyone heard that, they got a little bit anxious, like, wait a minute, the world is going to end if that boy does not get his life back. So Shiva realizes his mistake. He comes kneeling to Parvati, bows down. All the other devas are there. Everyone is apologizing. What can we do? We need to remediate the situation. What can we do? Tell us what to do. So she said, well, you give the life back into the boy. And in that moment, Shiva sends his ganas to look for the head of an animal, and he sends them in the northern direction. And the northern direction is considered to be an auspicious direction. It is the direction where you do your rituals. It's the east and north and northeast. And it is also connected to the head. If you saw the video of the Pavamana mantra, the Asatoma Satkamaya mantra, you'll know that the Upanishad in which it comes from, it says that the sacrificial horse is the head. It begins with the head. So it's connected to the head. And they go, and what do they find? They find an elephant head. And they bring the head back. And when they get the head, Shiva installs the head, and the boy sits up. And here, he receives the name of Ganesha. And I'll tell you how, but just to have a little bit of a look at this, I really love this painting of Parvati and Ganesha. This is really sweet. It's a very kind of like loving, tender situation. And she also requests for a status. I forgot to say that. See, it was here in the slide. So not only she wanted the life back, she also requested for the boy to gain a status. And in that moment, he gains the status as the ruler over the ganas, over Shiva's minions, Shiva's hordes of creatures and beings. And this is what Ganesha means. Isha means Lord, Gana means category. So the horde, all of the beats, all of them looking different, not being the same, acting differently, they're all categories. And why does he rule over categories? Well, he rules over everything that exists within manifestation, because everything that exists falls into a category, falls into a kind. And when we use categories, we better understand the world. We can develop the capacity to be able to discriminate wisely. Everything is organized. Yes, I like that word, organized. Okay, let's see what's the next slide with. And then here we have again the yogic family now complete, because now Ganesha is born. He gets his name of Ganapati. And, oh, I did well with time. See, I'm learning to take less and less time. Okay. So this is this story. There are a couple of other things that happened in that moment, like not only he got his name of Ganesha, but Shiva also proclaimed in that moment that if anyone wants to have luck, good luck, if anyone wants to have auspiciousness and blessings at the beginning of anything, then they must invoke Ganesha. They must say his name. And if you go to India, if you go into sacred places, if you come to our home, then you're going to see that Ganesha sits at the door. He's always at the beginning. He's at the beginning of everything. And that is if you want to have that good luck, the auspiciousness. And I'm going to tell you about the Om in a moment. Yes. So he sits at the beginning. And let's go, I'll go by one, because I think I made the slides here more for myself so I don't go whack. So he rules over categories because all kind is accepted, and this is a way of us better understanding our reality. Obstacles He's also the ruler of obstacles, and many times he's called the remover of obstacles. Now, isn't he also a bringer of obstacles? He became an obstacle for Shiva. He became an obstacle for the Ganas. He became an obstacle for all of those warriors that most of them, they didn't even know why they were getting themselves into that situation. Everything started because Shiva was faced with a situation where his ego, his pride, right? No one has ever done that before. No one stood up to Shiva before. And he just brought everything else. And he created this whole situation. But Ganesha did not move. He became the obstacle. And he can become an obstacle if we do not honor him. And a way of honoring him is listening to his birth story and understanding where he comes from, because he sits at the beginning. And for a yogic seeker in a yogic journey, Ganesha is really important to take on board, and then you may go seeking, because you have the blessings of Ganesha. And with teachers, without teachers, ideally with teachers, but Ganesha can take care of us. He can remove the obstacles, but in general, he removes the obstacles from the mind. Because, he sits at the doorway. He sits in front of the doorway. He won't let you pass through. And that's a good thing. Sometimes we want to pray for Ganesha to close the doors that we're not meant to pass through. If we Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.